Yeah. Okay, so here's episode 2 of Music Talks. I think what we're going to do for this one is going to be called How to Sit In. Okay, so if someone asks you to come sit in on their gig, right? I think it's like assumed that you're like the guest, right? And so like you want to be polite, like when you're in someone else's house, you know what I mean? You don't want to be rude, like you don't just come over unannounced. You don't just you know start breaking everything, and you don't like stay for like 17 days, you know. Yeah, so I think that like people need to learn how to sit in on jams and in gigs and things like that, because it doesn't seem like people have a lot of respect. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay, so like, yeah, if you come sit in on my gig or anyone else's gig, like 3 songs, play 3 songs and get out. You know what I mean? Like no one wants you there for the whole gig. If you were asked like, hey, can you come sit in? That doesn't mean like, can you come play this whole gig, right? That's just not what that means. So, yeah, like I would not do that. And like if they wanted you to play the whole gig, they would have hired you for the gig. You know what I mean? So think about that. Like if it's not your gig, maybe don't play the whole gig. 2, okay, if you get invited to sit in, I think you should return the favor. That might be, maybe a little big boy for some of you. A little spicy hot take there. But man, yeah, like if you have a guy or a girl, and you ask them to sit in, hopefully they ask you, or vice versa. Like, dude, if they ask you to sit in, dude, you should be like, hey, I got this gig like next week. Like, you want to come play? That's just fucking nice to do. That's how it should be. That's called etiquette. That's called manners, dude. So yeah, like if somebody gives you a gig, you should give them a gig. Like share the love, spread the love. Like this is not like some greedy shit. Especially if you guys are homies. Like, dude, especially if you guys live in the same town, and especially if you don't live in the same town. Like, let people sit in from other scenes. Like, that's how they get in. Like that's how I got into Portland. Was I started sitting in with people. The big cats around there, and I invited them on my gig, and I still do that to this day. Like, because you want to return the favor. You don't want to be the cat that's like just so greedy, you know what I mean? Like, or that thinks that they're better than everyone else, and it's just like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I can fucking take them, which may be the case, but you don't want to be a douche. I think that could be point number 3. Don't be a dick. If you're on someone else's turf and you're at someone else's house and et cetera, et cetera, dude, that's not your time to whip out your 20-inch cock. You know what I mean? Like, let's be respectful. And yeah, another thing too, I could think of like if you're a guest, throw them some money, like tip them. If you're getting tips while they're up there, you should give them those tips. People might be working for free, because I think that's gonna be episode number 3. But yeah, it's just like, dude, you really gotta value your people. Like if you just ask everybody to work for free all the time, like, hey, they're not gonna value you very much. You know what I mean? So think about that, because I think that's really important. Is the etiquette on like when you go to someone's gig and when you sit in, and how you handle the finances. And a lot of times I'd be like, yo, just keep the money, because like if I just play 3 songs, it's really not that big of a deal. And I think a lot of times that's better faith, like between you and the person, to be like, yeah, just keep the money, just like let me come play, because if you're not tripping about the money, I think a lot of times that can get you further. If you're just looking to sit in, everybody's got to pay their bills, but yeah, like I think if you're looking to break in, there's a difference, right? Like you kind of got to say yes until you can say no, kind of thing. So think about that. Like whenever you're sitting in, don't play the whole gig. Don't be a dick, and only play a couple of songs. And you know, make sure it's like stuff that like you know and everyone knows, because I think that can be like a really like if you're the band leader, this isn't necessarily a tip for someone who's like sitting in, but if it's your band and you're asking someone to sit in, um, you really want to like kind of be like a Miles Davis character. And I see a lot of people really struggle with this. You know, this is like the producer hat. This is like the you know, yeah, this is a real producer thing to do. Is like you really want to get the right cats for the job. And so if you ask this guy to come sit down on your blues gig and he plays bagpipes, you did bad. Did you get what I'm saying? Like, if you have this blues gig, you want to find either like, you know, the dopest slide guitar player, or like some really hot chick singer who can just, you know, kill it like Aretha, or find that BB King motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, you want to like find the right tool for the job. And I think that's really, really important whenever you're asking someone to sit in, because you don't want to look bad and you don't want to make that person look bad. So whenever you invite someone, make sure you're like analyzing their skill sets and like what is this person really good at, because I want to shine. You know, I want them to shine. I want to make them shine, because I think that's really what making music is all about. It's like, can you make the group that you're playing with right now sound really good? And not can you just play your bullshit, but can you make that person sound good? Like, because I think that's like the other thing too, is like, man, when I go and sit in with that person, I sound good. You know, like that's like what you want. And you, I mean, you don't want to sit in with anybody that makes you sound bad. That's a terrible idea, I think. So yeah, like you need to, like, for you, if you're the sitter inner, or if you are the person asking them to sit in, you need to be thinking about like, what are these people good at? Because you know, maybe it's like vice versa. Maybe you're a blues cat and they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, do you know any jazz? Or like, do you know you know what? Do you know any Stevie Wonder or something? Or like, you know, so it's like try to pick songs that are like kind of, oh, this one's kind of bluesy, or like, oh yeah, let's play a, you know, Blue Monk or something. They play a blues, but it's like a jazz tune. You know, it's like you have to play to the strengths of the people in the group. I've talked about that for a minute, but yeah, I think that, you know, beyond the fact of like you really want to be polite, you know, you don't want to crash the gig, you don't want to stay for too long, you know, don't be getting drunk and drinking everybody's shit, don't be, you know, ridiculous, you know, be polite. Like, it's not your gig, so that's really important. Make sure you're applying, you know, the right tool for the job, make sure you're playing the right music, make sure you're around the right people, and yeah, and if you are asked to sit in, or you ask someone else to sit in, then like return the favor and give them a gig. Like, that's just so insane. I think that's something that really doesn't get talked about very much, and I see that a lot. Talking to you. Yeah, you see that way too much. It's like, you know, some cat comes and crashes your gig, and they, you know, they think they're hot shit. They think they're the best thing that ever happened, and then they, you know, and then they sit in, and you don't get the gig again because they sounded so fucking bad, and they think they're so fucking good, and you know, they ruined your gig, and you never get that gig again. So like, think about that before you come and just totally crash someone's gig disrespectfully. And if you don't know any of the songs, please don't even show up. Please. That's insane. Like, if you're going to go to someone's gig and be like, yeah, I'm going to sit in, but I didn't learn anything, I didn't practice at all. Like, no, dude. If you're going to go and sit in with somebody, or you're going to go play with somebody, you should listen to their whole fucking discography, and you should already have learned the music at home. In my opinion. It's disrespectful to show up to someone's gig and try and play their whole gig and not know any of their songs. So, think about that before you go and sit in, kids. Because the etiquette is not there. The etiquette is not there. Just saying.